a little girl, and she had this pet spider. Nobody cared that she had a pet spider. Only her mom. Her mom said, "Get rid of that spider. It's a dirty little spider. You don't know where it's been." So the girl said, "Spider, let's go on an adventure and never come back." So they went on an adventure. They were just walking and walking, and they didn't know where they were. They walked back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And they didn't know where they were. And then the bird soared overhead. When he soared low, they'd duck. When he soared high, they'd stand. When he soared really low, they'd go to the ground. And then the bird landed and said, "What do you need?" And they said, Can we hop on your back and take a ride to see where we are?" And the bird said, "Sure, hop on." They hopped on the bird's back and flew and flew. They flew as high as they could. They flew as long as they could. And they flew and flew and flew. Then they crashed into a big tree that was just sitting there in the middle of nowhere. They had places to be and places to see. They needed a place to see. They wanted a place to stand and to look. They wanted a place they could look and see. They wanted a place where they can stand and look, and a place where they can see. A place where they can laugh and play, a place where they can run and play. A place where they can run, a place where they can play. A place where they can just play all day, a place where anything can be. A place where anyone can be, a place where anything can be. They wanted a little house. They wanted a big playground. They wanted anything they could have. All they had was a little bird and a little spider and a girl. They wanted a little house on the prairie, and just with a little... What rhymes with little?
Prairie.
Little prairie.
Fairy. Dairy.
They
Prairie,
just
Mary.
wanted some dairy.
Oh.
It's okay. I like to go high with that. So they walked off to the dairy. Spider found the blood-sucking dairy part. The girl found the regular dairy part.
That's good.
And the bird found the worm dairy part.
Oh.
They all were looking in the same place. So they both got, all of them got a little bit of ice cream.
Oh.
They picked up their ice cream and paid. They walked off and got into the house they bought. Spider was the first. Then came the girl. Then came the bird. They all slept happily in the little house, and then they moved to an even bigger.
Oh, good.
And then all of them fit in that little house, in that big house. And then they let the starfish in. They bought a tree and another tree. And then a bush and grass. And then they cut the grass short and cut the bush a little too. And then they grew some seaweed and had it too, and that was tasty too. Hold on, I have to fix that. And that was tasty too. The girl walked out and climbed a tree. Where she sat. And then she peed.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I could rhyme with it. And then she walked off and said to her spider, "Hello, spider, would you like dinner?" And she walked off to go get the seaweed. She got the seaweed, took it home, and made some sushi with seaweed. And then they went to bed. Good night, bird. Good night, starfish. Good night. Good night. Good night, starfish. Good night, bird. And good night, little spider. Good night, bird. Good night, starfish. Good night, little girl. Good night, spider. Good night, little girl. Good night, starfish. Good night, bird. Good night, spider. Good night. Good night, bird.
Excellent.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Oh, what a good story, Gib.